Breath of the Wild introduced Zelda players to the Divine Beasts, 4 giant machines built by the Sheikah to combat the growing threat of Ganon. 10,000 years ago, these Divine Beasts, along with the hero and the princess, were able to stop Ganon. When it was foretold that Ganon would return 100 years ago, the Divine Beasts were found with the hopes that they would once again be able to help in the fight. Princess Zelda set out to name 4 champions to pilot the Divine Beasts, and she ultimately chose 1 champion from each of Hyrule's major races: Mipha of the Zora, Daruk of the Gorons, Revali of the Rudo, and Urbosa of the Gerudo. How did this choice work out?
He chose poorly.
When Ganon returned, the Divine Beasts were infected with blight, the champions were killed, and most of Hyrule was destroyed. Zelda was ultimately able to seal Ganon away in Hyrule Castle, but I think it's safe to say that the plan failed spectacularly. So the question is, what could have been done differently to prevent the calamity? In my opinion, if Princess Zelda would have picked better champions to pilot the Divine Beasts, maybe they wouldn't have become infected and they could have helped Link and Zelda stop the calamity before Hyrule was destroyed. Several times in Breath of the Wild, Zelda mentions the difficulties the champions were having learning to pilot the Divine Beasts and how slow the progress was. If only there was some group out there that was familiar with ancient technology and who could have been more comfortable controlling the Divine Beasts. As it turns out, there is a group that was around during the calamity that probably would have been better equipped to be named champions and pilot the Divine Beasts. We learned through our adventures in Breath of the Wild that prior to the calamity, Impa, Pura, and Robbie of the Sheikah tribe were all performing research on ancient technology. Also, the Sheikah are the ones who originally built the Divine Beasts, along with the other technology scattered around Hyrule. You have to believe that there are some traces of their knowledge just waiting to be found, like maybe hidden away in the Forgotten Temple. So to me, it seems like Princess Zelda should have chosen 4 members of the Sheikah tribe to be the champions. Impa, Pura, and Robbie are all obvious choices, so the question is, why weren't members of the Sheikah tribe chosen as champions? I think there are 2 major reasons Zelda didn't choose Sheikah as champions. The first is diplomacy. As we've learned throughout the Zelda series, Hyrule has been in a state of civil war for much of its history. By selecting a champion from each major race, Zelda extended a bit of an olive branch to the various races, thereby maintaining a sense of harmony throughout the land. Additionally, by giving each race access to one of the Divine Beasts, Princess Zelda ensured that no one race could become more powerful than the others through the use of this technology. But I think the second reason is much more significant for why Princess Zelda didn't choose the Sheikah as champions.
You smell something, Rabbit?
Fear.
I think the ruling family of Hyrule was terrified of entrusting the Sheikah with the power of the Divine Beasts once again. We know that after the Divine Beasts defeated Ganon 10,000 years ago, the royal family essentially gave the Sheikah an ultimatum: give up their technological ways and live a simpler lifestyle, or be banished from the land. It is likely that the current royal family felt the same way about giving the Sheikah too much power once again. On top of that, the ultimatum given by the royal family all those centuries ago caused a rift in the Sheikah clan. A group that resented the royal family splintered from the Sheikah and became the Yiga clan. We see during the stolen heirloom side quest that the Yiga clan is capable of infiltrating the Sheikah. The royal family was probably concerned that turning the Divine Beasts back over to the Sheikah could lead them to inadvertently falling in the hands of the Yiga through the use of spies and double agents. These factors make it likely that the royal family would have been afraid of entrusting the Divine Beasts to the Sheikah alone. No matter the reason, choosing to turn the Divine Beasts over to representatives from Hyrule's major races ended up being a disastrous decision. Ganon killed the champions and decimated Hyrule. Perhaps if the royal family would have been able to see past its need for diplomacy and its fear of the Sheikah gaining too much power, they could have taken a more practical look at the situation and appointed champions who were most qualified for the task.